Tēnā koutou e te whānau Auckland Unitarians. Tēnā koutou ngā manihiri. Haere mai koutou ki tēnei hui. Haere mai ki te kaupapa o te rānei. Haere mai ki tēnei whare karakia o te atua. Neki atu i te kotahi rautau e nohu tapu ana. Ko Rachel Mackintosh tōku ingoa. Ko te kai kōrero e nai anei. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Greetings to the family of Auckland Unitarians. Greetings to our visitors. Welcome all to this gathering. Welcome to the kaupapa of this morning. Welcome to this church made sacred by Auckland Unitarians for more than 122 years. My name is Rachel Mackintosh and I am the worship leader today. We're in the midst of our pledge drive, and for my opening words this morning, I've chosen two things. First, a devotion by John Donne from 1624, which many of you know as a poem. It's got really cool spelling on my script, but you can't see that. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. I've also chosen a whakatauki. Nā tō raurau, nā taku raurau, ka ora ai te iwi. With your food basket and my food basket, the people will thrive. The chalice we light today is a symbol of our faith. It binds us together as one people, a reminder that our strength is in our shared hope for the world, and that our common work is the creation of beloved community among ourselves and in the world. Now I invite you, if you wish, to join with me in saying the words of the covenant of this church. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is the sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus do we covenant with each other and with our God. Now we have an unusual feature, and this is as part of our pledge drive. Alex, who is a member of our community in Wellington, has kindly agreed to give us a short expression of, I haven't listened to it, so I don't know what she says, but we'll find out. She would be just on the screen doing it live, but you've heard the echoes, so she also kindly pre-recorded it, and David will now share it.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Tēnā koutou e te whānau o Auckland Unitarians. Ko maunga kia te maunga, ko tikapa moana te moana. No tāmiki makaurau ahau, ke te whanganui a tāra ahau e noho ana. Ko Alex Geard, tōku ingoa. Hello, I'm Alex Geard, born in Auckland at the foot of One Tree Hill, raised in and near the waters of the Hauraki Gulf, now living in Wellington. During this pledge cycle, Rachel's asked me to speak about why I began giving to Auckland Unitarians. Before 2022, I hadn't much thought about giving to a church. I had childhood memories of velvet collection bags and collection envelopes, and of my parents helping to total up the offering after services. But I grew away from that. As I came to make my own choices, I preferred to give to organisations that dealt with social and environmental problems, either directly or by working to change systems. And yet, 2 years ago, Clay Nelson, our much-missed minister, gave a sermon for the church pledge drive. It made an impression on me. Enough of an impression that I hunted down the listing in the New Zealand Charities Register for the Unitarian Church of Auckland Trust Board and added them through my work's payroll giving. What did Clay say that touched me, heart, mind, and wallet? Especially since I've learned that what someone lays down in a sermon isn't always what I pick up and take away. So what did Clay lay down? He drew on a sermon by the Reverend Hilary Landau Privchenia. He spoke of magic, stage magic that can be cunning but leave us feeling a bit conned, of fictional magic systems, like in the Witcher series, where energy or life force has to be channeled from one thing to affect another thing, and of what he called the real magic we do in community and in the world, which, lofty as it sounds, takes money. He quoted Joseph Campbell, the visionary student of myth and legend, who wrote, "In the living of a life today, money is a facilitating energy source. With money in the tank like gasoline, you can get places you otherwise couldn't go." That seemed fair. What I picked up and took away was a reminder that we each make choices about how we use our time, our talents, and our treasure. We can use those resources to nourish the things we want to see in the world. If I value the presence of the Unitarian Universalist community in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I do, then it's on me to work out how to apply my time, talents, and treasure to support that, and pledging is part of that. When I started, it was about contributing to the costs of a minister and a building that is our focus and standing place, even though I haven't yet physically stood in it. Now, it's part of keeping things going so we still have choices as we work through the big conversations about what we want our future to look like. I'm trying to nurture what I value and chip in where I can. Together, let's keep this thing going. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
I don't think I've ever done this before, but I'm taking a short reading today from the Bible. This is Mark chapter 12, verses 41 to 44. And Jesus sat down opposite the treasury and watched the people putting money into the offering box. Many rich people put in large sums, and a poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which make a penny. And he called his disciples to him, and he said to them, "Truly I say to you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the offering box. For they all contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, has put in everything she had, all she had to live on." I first heard that in Bible in schools, which we don't approve of in this church, but it very touched me at the age of 8, and anyway, I hope you like it. It is 1944. It is hell. A boy shows our first character, Garcin, into a room that is furnished with 3 old-fashioned couches of different colours. No windows, no mirrors, nothing breakable, and a doorbell. Garcin wants to know where are the stakes, the grilling irons, the water torture. Seeing there are none, he then complains that they have taken his toothbrush. The boy laughs and explains that everyone asks the same question. First, they look for instruments of torture. At that moment, they are not thinking of their personal grooming. And as soon as they are reassured about the torture, they all ask about their toothbrush. Why would you brush your teeth? the boy asks. In the silence, we begin to sense the nature of Garçon's situation. He is in a room where the lights are always lit, where there is no sleep, no need to brush your teeth. Presently, one by one, the boy ushers in two more characters. First, Inés. Inés wants to know where her lover Florence is. The boy doesn't know. And then Inés mistakes Garçon for her executioner. Her executioner. Except he isn't. Our sense of the situation increases, and also perhaps our confusion. Garçon puts his head in his hands. Next, the boy brings in Estelle. The first words from her mouth are an entreaty to Garçon not to lift his head. I know that your face is missing. When she sees that Garçon's not who she thought he was, she then reacts as if she's been shown a hotel salon, remarking on the decor and asking for flowers. The tension in the room grows, and perhaps our confusion. The boy leaves them alone together. They discuss why they are there, together, in this room. Is it chance? Inés says, chance? Try moving the furniture and tell me if it's chance. And the heat, this terrible heat? I tell you, they arranged everything, right down to the last detail, with love. This room was waiting for us. Our sense of the situation develops. They know they are dead. They know this is the waiting room for hell. They begin to lie to each other about why they are there. Estelle doesn't know. She just had pneumonia. She married a man for his money. Is that so bad? Think about how many people die each day. Surely you would expect some clerical errors in where people are sent. Garçon was a hero, a pacifist who resisted the war. Inés is having none of it. We had our moments of pleasure. People died for us. Now we have to pay. She says the only person missing is the executioner. It's cost-cutting. They're leaving us to it. We are each other's executioner. But Garçon doesn't want to be an executioner. Remember, he's a hero. He has a solution. Let's withdraw from each other so we can't hurt each other. And Garçon goes silent. This doesn't bring any peace, as the unease in the room always finds purchase. Now Estelle frets that there are no mirrors. She needs a mirror. She says, I feel funny. When I can't see myself, I have to pinch myself. I wonder if I really exist. Does she really exist? Inés offers to be her mirror, guides her to fix her lipstick, and then says, yes, that's better now, heavier, more cruel, your lips of hell. Hell deepens, gets hotter. Is it hot in here? Garçon breaks his silence and asks them to try and forget each other's presence. Doesn't work. Inés tells him that his silence screams in her ears. Now, finally, they begin to tell the truth. Garçon slept with his lover in his own house with his wife in the next room. He was a deserter and a coward, not a hero. Inés was cruel to her lover Florence and to Florence's husband, and her lover gassed them both in a murder-suicide. Estelle drowned her illegitimate baby, and the baby's father shot himself in the face. This is what their lies and shame were hiding. Now we know the naked truth. Garçon hopes that now that they are naked down to their skeletons, perhaps they can help each other, find a way out, an exit. There are unbreakable threads connecting them all. He says either we all go down together or we all get out together. Instead, they start insulting each other, being as cruel as they possibly can. We will now continuously chase each other and never catch up, like horses on a merry-go-round. Inés pursues Estelle, Estelle pursues Garçon. In complete contradiction of what he has just said, Garçon falls into an awkward seduction game with Estelle, while Inés watches. But they draw back at the last minute. It is not each other's bodies they need. It is each other's trust. No one in the room has any trust to give, nor can they receive it. Garçon, desperate, decides to make a break for it alone. He rings the doorbell, doesn't work. His fists rain on the door in a frantic drumming. He begs for physical torture as an escape from the mental anguish of being trapped in this room with Estelle and Inés. The door opens suddenly and he nearly falls through it. He hesitates. He is a coward. As Inés says, "You are nothing more than your life." They close the door. It was 10 times hotter with the door open. And then becomes clear. This is not the anteroom of hell. This is hell. Garçon says, "L'enfer, c'est les autres." Hell is other people. This story is the telling of Jean-Paul Sartre's play, Huis Clos, or No Exit. You are nothing more than your life. Sartre talked a lot, not just in this play, but elsewhere, about the problem of other people. In his major philosophical work, Being and Nothingness, he made a similar point to the central thesis in Huis Clos, in No Exit. My original downfall is the existence of the other. And this point is played out in Sartre's life in the following way. A young writer, Jean Genet, grew up in reasonable bourgeois comfort in foster care. His mother was a sex worker. He did well at school. He subsequently ran away and spent time as a vagabond, thief, and sex worker. He spent time in the French Foreign Legion and was dishonourably discharged for indecency. He went to prison where he began his writing career. In the late 1940s, after 10 criminal convictions, he was under threat of a life sentence. Sartre and other artistic luminaries of the time, including Jean Cocteau and Pablo Picasso, successfully petitioned the president to have the sentence set aside. Sartre then wrote an analysis of Genet's life called Saint Genet, that's Saint Genet, chronicling his journey from vagabond to celebrated author. Genet was so fixed by Sartre's view of him that he became artistically paralysed and didn't write anything for at least another 5 years. He was a living example of hell being other people. He was fixed in the hell of Sartre's portrait of him and was unable to act. Unlike these people. In No Exit, the characters are dead. They can't act. But we are all still in our lives. We are able to act. And for Genet, after 5 years, he did start to write again and produced brilliant plays that showed how people can be fixed by the views of others, how they can suffer by becoming what they mean to others, and also how they can subvert that burden and create new truths and new pathways. We always have that choice when we are in our lives. Even Garçon begins to suggest choices and possibilities when he proposes that we can avoid being each other's executioners by giving each other space. He begins to suggest choices and possibilities when he notes that we are all connected to each other and that we can deal with this either by all going down together or by all helping each other. Although Garçon, Inés and Estelle's hell is to be like horses on a merry-go-round, forever pursuing each other and forever not reaching each other, we have other options. Even Sartre thought so. The nothingness in his great work, Being and Nothingness, is the realm of possibility. Nothingness is the gap, the moment of choice that follows every action in our lives. Nothingness is where we have options. This is either terrifying or liberating. And not to be too binary, it may be a combination of the two. In the words of Joan Baez, getting a little more recent, every day on earth is another chance to get it right. And we, as members of this community, whether we are guests here for a while, passing through, or have made the choice to continue to journey together, we have choices too. We can consider how each of us might have allowed ourselves to be fixed by other people's views of us. We can consider what other options we have. We can work to develop our relationships in and outside this community so that we make the world a better place. As John DeLeo said a couple of weeks ago, we can consider how this community does good together. We are all connected, and we can make that connection rich by participating. We heard from Alex earlier. We've heard from many people about what that participation looks like. With your food basket and my food basket, the people will thrive. So we are in the midst of our canvas. Each year at Canvas Time, we have the opportunity to renew our commitment to the community, to each other, and to the possibilities for doing good. I finish with the words of another French writer of the 20th century, Anais Nin. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Amen. Okay. It's now time to extinguish the chalice. Sophie, would you mind helping? So David will share the words, and there has been an additional phrase added, so don't close your eyes. This phrase comes from the UU Fellowship of Quimper in Washington State. I think John quoted from the minister of that congregation in his service a couple of weeks ago. Okay. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. There was a lot of joy and sorrow today. And so for closing words, ma whero ma pango ka oti ai te mahi. With red and black, the work will be complete. The discussion question is this: when have you found the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom? Which David will share on the screen and I hope paste into the chat for the Zoom people.